Hello, my name is Pat. I work as an independent contractor as a college basketball official for the NCAA. I work in various major Division I conferences. My typical day involves, I should say my duties involve administering the rules and regulations of a collegiate basketball game. My typical day would sum up to me waking up at 4:15 a.m. in the morning, getting on a plane at 6 o'clock, going to the various sites, whether it be Knoxville, Georgia, or wherever it may be. I usually get there around lunchtime. I grab something to eat. I may be able to take a nap for maybe an hour or two. Then it's time to go to the game. The game generally starts at 7 o'clock during the weekday or 12 o'clock or any time during the weekends. After the game, I usually get finished about 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. I generally grab something to eat. Then I head back to the hotel. And then I do it all again. I wake up again at 4:15 in the morning, get on a plane at 6 o'clock, and I'm off to the next city. My week is generally like that. I generally referee about 4 major Division I ball games a week. And the year lasts for, games start in November, although I generally do meetings, different conference meetings during the month of October, and it lasts until the NCAA tournament is over at the end of April. Then we go into the off season. And then my off season, I have to do continuing education, things like that, basketball camps and instructions and staying in shape, working out, continuing reading the rule books and staying on top of my game. Although the accountability part of my job is refereeing the games and generally dealing with TV and things like that, I do a lot of travel, either whether it's by airplane or by the car. If I have to travel by car, I generally won't drive more than 4 hours to a game or maybe 4 hours after a game. If anything above that, I'm generally getting on an airplane. During the off season, we have continuing education camps. We have basketball camps that we attend. And as some ways for me to do a job on the off season besides working out is I attend those camps as an instructor. If for example, if someone wants to become a referee, they would go to referee school, and I would be there as an instructor and kind of help counsel them and instruct them on being a referee. Most referees that referee in NCAA have full-time positions, and they do this as a part-time job. Some people do it as a full-time job also. But the accountability is very high on it, and the education and the things that you have to do to become a referee at the NCAA level is very extensive. The stress level as being a major Division I college official is pretty high. The accountability of refereeing is so high this day and age, with the day and age of YouTube and instant media access, that coaches lose jobs. If we miss a call, or if I miss a call in a game that causes a team to lose and the coaches lose that game, they may lose their job, they lose their livelihood. So the accountability is very, very high. We have ESPN, and they highlight all the things that we do wrong. We very seldom get a chance to be commended for the things that we do right. So working in front of a crowd for 21 to 22,000 people and knowing that you're making a mistake, 50% of the people are going to not agree with you, and 50% of the people will agree with you. So when you work in front of thousands of people and you make a mistake, the stress level can be kind of high, because you will not be the person that is more, no one is more hard on themselves than you are. You're harder on yourself than anyone else may be. So when I make a mistake in a ball game, I'm the first person to know I made a mistake. And I generally feel bad about it or worry about it for a long time after the fact. So the stress level can be kind of high, and then of course you're always traveling, you're always away, you're always trying to figure out what time you're going to be there, are you going to be on time, can you make it? And during the basketball season is during the winter time, and then you have to deal with weather problems, getting to this place or that place in snow or rain or sleet, and there is no excuse for you not being there, because they pay you to be there and perform this service or your job. Okay, the requirements of doing this job. Every year for the NCAA, you have to take an exam, a rules exam. You have to pass with a minimum score of 80 to 85% in order to pass the exam. And that qualifies you to referee in the NCAA tournament. You also have to pass a background check, and they do a background check on you every year. My first year going to the NCAA tournament, I had my background check. That they contacted my high school principal and my next door neighbor at the neighborhood that I grew up in. So it's very beneficial to you to make sure that you don't have anything in your background that may disqualify you. Although all referees have different levels of education in different areas of education, some of the things that may benefit you, the things that make you do well at this level is a love of the game, to have a feel for officiating. Having played the game helps, but it's not necessarily a requirement. You have to work at it, you have to have a natural knack at it, and you really study the craft in order to improve and become better. The third requirement to referee an NCAA tournament is to do a minimum of 25 Division I basketball games. In order to get to the Division I level, generally referees start at a lower level. They start refereeing like bitty basketball or high school basketball, and just to get a feel about what you're doing in order to improve your craft. To be identified, you typically go to a basketball camp, and some supervisors may observe you and evaluate you, and invite you for continuing training, and then hopefully invite you to become a member of their staff. Division I staffs like the Big East or the Conference USA or Big 12. We have quizzes throughout the year for ongoing education and make sure that we're on top of the game, on top of our rules and knowledge of the rules. We have to review tape. That is a major part of what we do. After every game, I have to take my game tape and I have to review plays. If a coach or a supervisor has a question for a controversial call, I have to get that tape and I have to review those particular plays. To give you an example, during the NCAA tournament, we get graded on all our games. And we may have a grade for like 16 of 21, meaning I got 16 of 20, out of 21 plays that I may have gotten right. My responsibility at that point would be to go in, take the game tape, review those plays, and make a comment on whether I agree or disagree or what I could have done to get the play right. The accountability is pretty high, especially at the level that I do it at. The best parts of the job is being in the arenas. The atmosphere is incredible. You refereeing in places like Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina, Florida, or Syracuse, places like that, the atmosphere is incredible. The fans are incredible. The passion of the game is incredible. You meet a lot of people. I get a chance to travel a lot of different places, and I get a chance to see things that I normally would not have necessarily seen. I do a lot of traveling, and those are the best things about my job. The worst part about the job is also the travel, being away from home. Sometimes, you have to be careful what you ask for. Just because you may be on TV and you see a lot of things and people see you on TV and say that's a glamorous job and everything, be careful what you ask for, because in every job it has good things and it has bad things also. In my particular case, refereeing college basketball, the traveling can wear you down a little bit. Being away all the time, getting up in the wee hours of the morning, doing those kinds of things. Dealing with coaches and players and all those things is a part of the game. It's not necessarily a bad part of the game, because you have to deal with the level of competition. I enjoy that. I enjoy the competition. I enjoy the pressure of it. I enjoy being around, making calls at the split second of the game, see if I got it right or wrong. I'm the first person to question whether or not I got it right or wrong. But the pressure of the game is always enjoyable, and I enjoy the competition of it. The first thing you need to do is continue to go to school and have an education. You be a well-rounded person. And what I mean by that is, have a job. Get your education, whether it be to go to college or have a trade or go to the service or something like that. Because people who hire me, they are not going to hire someone who doesn't have that well-roundedness about them. They're going to look into your background, make sure everything is clear. So the decisions that you make now will affect you in the future. That is very, very important. Also, when you want to do that, having played basketball, having the experience of playing basketball does help. And whether it be at the college level or the high school level, but having a feel for the game, it builds a foundation for what you want to do if you want to be a basketball official. Then you have to go to camps. You have to be recognized. Start at the small level. Start at maybe the bitty basketball or AAU basketball or high school basketball, but you have to be able to work at this. You can't just jump into this and get at the level of refereeing games at Kentucky. It just won't happen. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes love of the game. If you don't love the game of basketball, you're not going to be successful at this. And you have to be patient about it. That's probably more difficult to said than done, is being patient about it. But it's a great job to have. It's very fun to do. You meet a lot of people and you meet friends for life, and good luck to you. I hope you enjoy it.